This video is called Eco Airbrushing with the Iwata HPC Plus. Now you cannot get any more environmentally friendly airbrushing that I'm showing you today, guys. We are using water-based golden high flow transparent acrylics. We've got the Iwata HPC Plus. Now this is a 0.3 needle and nozzle setup, so it's a bigger needle, but I just want to show you on low pressure how well this airbrush can get down on detail, guys. It's incredible. Now you're probably not going to see this, but I'll zoom in on the camera, just touching that trigger, but you can just see how good the golden high flow is. The actual pigments and that in these paints are brilliant, guys. They really are, and when you thin these down with water, they work even better. Now back to the eco side of things. Usually you'd be firing up a big compressor which can drain a lot of juice, or you've got your little airbrush compressor that's running and running and running and you can get the little portable ones that where you get the cheap airbrush on the top. I have got a couple of those, and I've got one where you can plug a normal brush into. They'll last 60 minutes. I'm just going to do this video until we run out of air, and then I'll give you a little look at what I'm running this brush on. But if you want silent compressor flow, you're not going to get any more silent than this, guys, and it's working, as you can see. For practicing your detail in your spare room late at night when you don't want a compressor kicking in, this is a great way for a beginner just to practice their airbrushing. Not a problem at all. And as you can hear, we're running low. This has got to be probably 6 to 7 psi, I'd have thought, on this. And this brush just handles it so well. It really does. So that's a good probably couple of minutes on the trigger on continuous air. We've got a bit left in the tank. It's still running, and as you can see, it's not kicked in. We're not getting any noise. You know, you're just sitting there with your thinned out paint, practicing your detail, dagger strokes, dots, lines in the quiet, guys, and that's what it's about. So it's very economical to run this setup, very cheap as well. Maximum a tenner, and you're airbrushing. If you've got your brush, something like this, like a top cup, is better because you've got your paint flow coming down to the front of the brush. I have tried this setup on a side feed and it wasn't as good, but I find the top cup like this, or the PS270, any of the PS range where you've got your top cup, Harder and Steenbeck will be absolutely fine. Just sort of your side cup or your bottom feed where you need a little bit more oomph to give you some more paint flow. But you are thinning your paint down, guys. It's very, very thin for practicing. But as I say, it's always good to give it a go with your thin paint. Just see how far you can knock your paints back. And I know the golden, you can really thin it back, and it's a great paint. So we're about out of air. We've done a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes airbrushing while I've been chatting, just practicing. We've still got a little bit left in the tank, so I'll give you a little pan round and show you what I've set up. My eco airbrush setup. Now, that's what it is. It is a 24-inch fat tire inner tube. Now this is on a 24, so if you had a 26-inch tire, you're going to get a little bit more air storage. Now I'll just use one of these. You're probably pumping this up in a matter of like 15 to 20 seconds. Done, the tire's pumped up. Then you have a valve that comes off your tire, comes down, And then the actual connection that I'm using here, it's an airbrush connection that would go to your normal airbrush. But where your hose goes on, it's basically got like one where you can just push the hose on and put a Jubilee. That's why I've got a bit of tape around it, because I've not got a Jubilee small enough to clip it on. Then I went to an adapter that's got a thread either side, so you could put a normal airbrush quick connect, say both sides, like a little joining piece connector, and that went to the standard airline. That runs up to the brush, then you screw it straight to the brush. Now I've tried it with a quick connect on the end of the brush with a Mac valve, and it does work, so you can dial your air pressure in, but you're not getting a great deal. You're probably getting 10, just under 10 psi. So that's the setup. You just stick that on your chair like that, and then you just sit on that. So it's comfortable. And if you suffer with piles, everyone has to sit on a rubber ring, don't they? So win-win for the person that's got piles that's airbrushing. So yeah, you just sit there like that on your tube, and then you've got guaranteed air pressure, and it doesn't seem to fluctuate. It gives you a steady, consistent 10 until it starts. I mean, I've been airbrushing, you just seen me airbrushing on that piece there. 2-3 minutes, I've timed this, and I've got 5 minutes, about 5 minutes out of a tube pumped up to about 80 psi. So it works. It's silent, get your paint thinned, you know, and you can practice your detail, tiny little strokes like that with your thinned out paint. This is probably a bit too thin, it's spider webbing, but it just gets you practicing down with your brush and your paints, thinning them out. You're doing it the quietest way possible, so if it's late at night and you're having a little blast of paint, you've not got your missus screaming down your ear going, turn that bloody compressor off, all I can hear is all the time. You've got your inner tube back up, you're sitting on it, it's comfortable, and it's quiet, and it's not costing you anything. And with the price of electric and bills that are going on this year is ridiculous. This setup is costing you a bit of physical exercise using one of these to pump it up, or a foot pump. And with these pumps, it takes, as I say, maximum 20 seconds and you've got that inner tube pumped up. But little setups like this and little practice things that you can practice, and I just have a play with, have a bit of fun. I thought of it last night and I thought, yeah, we'll give it a go, it's worth a try, and it works. So yeah, we've got the paint down. As I say, 4 to 5 minutes on a tube. On a 24 fat tire tube, you get a 26. You'll be laughing, and it's comfortable as well, and it's quiet. So I hope you enjoyed the video on the eco airbrushing. If you're using, I find it's better to use a top cup airbrush, because you've got your paint consistency going straight down to the front of the brush. I tried it with a side feed and it didn't like it. You just need that little bit more air pressure with the side feed or a bottom feed, because the air's got to go in and push the paint up on a bottom feed. But with one of these on a top cup, I tried the PS270, it worked absolutely fine, and with the Mac valve on the front, it just worked great. But thin your paint down. You can't go chucking neat acrylics through this because you've not got the air pressure to push it. But if you thin it out and you want to practice your detailed tiny little dagger strokes, dots, you've seen it there, guys, it works. So thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe, press that notification, and I'll pop a video up now, and jump onto this one, have a look. If you're a newbie, these little bits will help you out, guys. So enjoy the next video, and I'll see you lot in the next one. Cheers.